Alright, we have time warped and returned to the Quantum Cafe with your host, the Cosmic Messenger. Just a reminder that we are also in the Aquarius sign now. Been in there for a little while. Those are fun, rebellious times where the unique, creative individual and all sorts of new inventions come to light. We are also having no retrogrades with all of the planets in the solar system. They're all forward motion direct until March 5th. That's incredible. So these are huge manifesting times, and the whole energetics of the solar system are binding into one. These are very powerful times. So I'm on here today because I wanted to chit-chat a quick little bit about the ninth dimensional template. You hear about this sometimes for the collective and the individual. So what are these 9 dimensions, and what do they make up, and how does that work? Sometimes the various things we learned in the education system does not lead us exactly where we want it to go for various reasons, and on other occasions it was just the knowledge that they had at the time or what they were working with. So that said, let's go over the 9 dimensions and what exactly that means, and then we'll talk how that fits into the individual and collective templates. So first off, the first dimension accesses the diamond, think of it with a diamond in a circle, crystal core with iron in the center of Earth. So the first dimension would be applied to any planet you're on and would access its main core. Then the second dimension is the one that goes into the plants, the minerals, and the animals. So connecting into those fields and those energetics and having that plane of existence is another way to put it too as well. Then the third dimension is the physical stuff that you witness, see, touch, and hold. Though all dimensions are mixing together, the third dimension puts things into physicality and form in a way that, from this perception that we're talking to right now, most of you will be used to and accustomed to. The fourth dimension is the astral plane, the one where the entities come to mix for the light and for the dark. It's all one anyways. That's where animal spirit guides, your spirit guides come into play, or energetics that move things between dimensions. Because remember, think of it this way. All of the odd numbers are more physical looking, and all the even numbers are more physical looking, and all of the odd numbers are more astral-like based, especially as you move higher up the plane. And animals can shapeshift too, and with crystals and gemstones, we're back to the second dimension, right? That's where these etheric elements come in and play. So that's it. It's the fourth dimension's where all that wild transitional stuff happens. Using your third eye and doing some visualizations, or you left the body and did some etheric travels. So that's the fourth dimension. The fifth one is the integration of your light body. Physical and energetics meet into one. That's where the crystalline form comes into play, the emerald heart. And then the sixth dimension relates to Sirius, and that is the activation of sacred geometry through visible light and sound codes. The sound may not be visible, but it's auditory experiences. So for those who have ear tones that go on, different tonalities, or you hear the frequency that's continuous, especially if you get out of the noisy areas, you can hear a buzz. You got to tune into it though. There's a lot of us that have that, but that navigates our magnetics of our body. So Sirius, the dog star, the ones that gave us dogs and cats. Pretty awesome. So that's the sacred geometry that makes the building blocks of everything we're working with. Then we move on to the seventh dimension, which is the light codes coming from their original source. So everything we look at is light. We may only see a little bit of the visible spectrum, but the whole wide range of what goes on is immense. So for people, again, that hear those tones, that could connect you to the seventh dimension, because you may hear a high frequency, and that's the gamma ray coming through. Or it might be a bit lower of a tone, so it's ultraviolet or, say, infrared. Very fascinating stuff, and the very low rumblings are that connecting to Earth. So the light codes that come into our solar system to even make this happen. Then when you move on to the eighth dimension, you're dealing with the next closest galaxy, the Andromeda galaxy, and how that plays in with interacting on a more, the Federation they call them, stuff like that. But that would be more if we met another conscious physical entity on another planet, a bunch of beings, humanoids, whatever way we want to look at it, and how that will play into the spectrum. Plus, there's millions and billions of stars and galaxies, so that is a huge energetic cord. Now, the last one on the ninth is your galactic core, connecting to the central unit of the Milky Way galaxy. That is your core, that is your etheric astral travel. It's all of them wrapped into one. When you get a download, a sudden insight, or an energetic awakening, you're tapping into the ninth dimension. So these all work together simultaneously, and you can view them from any baseline of operations, that viewpoint. So, but you're still using them all anyway, just one is more stronger, because that's the way you're navigating through it. So individual and collective templates, what does that mean? So the ninth dimensional template, all fused together, working for you, permanent integrations, is when you've brought them all together and infused them into your existence as a permanent part, 24/7, of your quantum daily living. And then for the collective, when enough of the individuals do the work and anchor those energies in, bring in the conscious view, the super conscious view, of these ultra amazing multi-dimensional realities. So these 9 dimensions. Then that makes it available for the collective. It's like we have to test them out, try them out, work with them, and bring them online so that everybody else can access them. Some of us, it's a slow growth, and we do it when we're younger in the body form, because we're eternally young. And then others will do a jump pad and get them suddenly when they're spent many more solar times in their body, solar years. And for them, it may not make sense because they didn't have as much time to integrate it. So if we test it out, sometimes these are in the DNA, cellular, and bone activity, and that puts it into fusion. There is also a 12th dimensional package as well too, as we are learning what these dimensions are and working with them. So I just wanted to touch base with a little bit on what kind of dimensionary stuff we're working with. And just remember, so the even numbers are more physical. That's a pretty broad statement. And then the odd numbers are more like your etheric realms that you're working with. All right. So when we get to the 10th template, that's when we're going multi-galactic. And then there's the multiverse and interdimensional travel, and it gets wild from there. So I want you to all have a beautiful, magical, wonderful day, and thanks again for tuning in to the Cosmic Messenger here at the Multidimensionary Quantum Cafe and Lounge, and we will be back with you very shortly. Have a beautiful day.